Today we tackle the final concept of the series, the rule of cool. When you hear it, even when you think about it, you think cool in the traditional sense. Unfortunately, cool, much like humor, is entirely subjective. And trying to teach a subjective rule is contradictory, and I won't do it. I will, however, explain the concept behind it. The rule of cool is less of a rule of cool and more like a rule of necessity. I explained in the first video of this series that the rule of cool accounts for inconsistencies like the size of a prop changing sizes for functionality in the shot, or an ability that only appears once and never again. Discontinuity's bad, right? Well, not all the time. It might not make proper sense, but they were decisions made to specifically enhance the story. Ren needed to show off the power of auras to accompany Pyrrha's explanation to Jean, and the crescent rose needed to look large next to RWBY, but sometimes it needs to look small enough to carry. Whether it makes sense or not is only important when it stands out and detracts from the focus of the story. My favorite examples of the rule of cool and RWBY are actually both in the same sequence. When Pyrrha's explaining aura to Jean, we're treated to an exciting combat scene between Ren and a double-headed snake. If this were a typical animated show, we might get a few painterly looking backgrounds sliding across the screen while Pyrrha talks, and we wouldn't get a fight scene at all. We wouldn't actually need it because Pyrrha verbally explains it. But there's a well agreed upon rule about exposition in movies. Show it, don't say it. And this scene doesn't really do one or the other. It cleverly mixes the two, making sure our understanding of aura is clear and unforgettable. At the same time in the action, and in Pyrrha's explanation, Jean says, "It's like a force field!" And then boom, force field action. Immediately afterwards, we get my second favorite example. Of all the ways a fight with a giant snake could go, Ren could have ended it by shooting it to death, or stabbing it with his boomerang guns, or... for a two-headed snake, and now you're just a regular snake like the rest of us! Like I said before, even though it could have been labeled unnecessary, it properly displayed the power of aura as in unison with a long lore-heavy explanation, and an even more direct explanation from Jean. It was informative and fun to watch, hence the rule of cool. And with that, we bid farewell to animation analysis. That is, until I have another unscratchable itch concerning something in Volume 5, which will undoubtedly be the case in the coming months. Hey there, friend, don't look so sad. Animation analysis may be over, but my channel still exists, and if you want to see what's coming up next, you ought to subscribe. There's one problem, though. If you want to see stuff get higher quality around here, I've got a Patreon account that you can donate to. Donate and become a member of the Cupcake Crusaders, or if you're more strapped than that, you might be able to grab yourself a custom animated bloblet made by me, or for a tad more dosh, you could grab yourself an art commission, courtesy of Kink. Nonetheless, thank you so much for watching, and you can expect a video next week whether or not you donated, so don't even worry about it. See you then.